It is July 16th, 2023. I told you 2 days ago in Maslin, I went down and got something for dinner. People got out of their cars and said, "We found out they were all going after her because some idiot lied on her that she was faking she was sick and faking she got well." And we told them to cut it out, that this isn't funny. Yesterday, I worked at two different clients' house in North Canton. I went to leave some kids were riding bikes. And they made sure they rode their bikes as I was pulling down the road. They said my mom looked up what was wrong with her before and what she went through and how she got well. She's lucky to be alive. I know, and some idiot made up that she was faking she was sick and faking she got well. Do you know who made that up? A minister with a high school diploma from the 50s. Only had a minister's license because some ministers got together in a building across the parking lot, preached their little hate things, and then signed their minister's license. I talked to my one sister-in-law. She had friends that went through and got their license too. They said it was awful in there. They preached ties. They preached that women have no rights. hmm They're to stay covered up. Uh, if they even question you, throwing them out. Da 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 da. Men have complete control, and it was all against women have no rights. That's what the kind of stuff they preached when they signed his license. It was just a bunch of ministers preaching their little hate crime. Okay? And they signed it. Do you realize a high school diploma from the 50s? My mom is up in her 80s. She said for you to graduate, you had to be able not only to add, subtract, but multiply and divide. If you wanted a higher education, you had to go to college. They didn't offer it in college, like algebra and all that other stuff. You had to go to college. See, my dad in the 50s worked several jobs to go to college. Went on to be a chemist and then a GM and then uh, a vice president of a company. And one of the ministers, even in a different state from that religion, told him if he had more than one job, he had sin in his life because they didn't want him to get a higher education. Because they want to control people. Even Strange years ago didn't want people to go to college. And I think the first two women that actually went to college was Pam to be a nurse and then Lori to be a teacher. And they preached against college. And then where the guys started becoming electrician, made big money, giving big tithes and offering. He didn't care. But people forget how much technology and education has changed in 70 years. We didn't even have cell phones, until the late 80s, early 90s. We live on our cell phones. Everybody lives on their cell phones now. But do you realize we didn't have to even have an answering machine at home? I remember when that technology came out. I'm old. But Strange made up that lie because David had more friends. So he could cheat. He said it in that church, pick out which woman he wanted, and they'd look at it. But do you realize how stupid of a lie? And anybody believe it? Because where did it come from? A minister with a high school diploma from the 50s. It only has a minister's license because a bunch of other ministers got together and preached their little hate sermons. And signed a bunch of people's license. Yeah, just had to be paid to be there. That's it. You know, I take care of clients that walk with walkers around their home. They'll walk without their walker. Won't be real good. Gotta make sure they don't fall. For different obvious reasons. But they go outside, they got their walkers. Why? Because they'll total over. with all that swelling. And in Altman Family Physicians, where that agent opened actually a real protected custody case, I had officers, several of them, sitting in the back. They told them right away that it was a medication error that made you swell up and everything quit working. You're lucky you got off. I could have died. You do realize the swelling went from my feet into my legs, into my arms, into my face, into my brain. My heart was getting off. My brain was swelling. My thyroid quit working. My adrenal gland. My pituitary gland was swelling. My heart was off. My legs are popping out of place from the massive amount of swelling. And they thought there was an underlying condition. Here it was medication errors. It was 20 years ago, but they still should have caught it. You always blame they would tell the police, you always blame the steroids that they had you on, but they had you on so much medication. Hard telling which one made you swell up that big and everything quit working, or the combination thereof. They almost killed it. And it's by the grace of God. Do you know? And I was talking to someone last night, and I was starting to give them the testimony how I got sick, and then how I got well, and then how, that guy's kid got killed in a traffic accident I had nothing to do with, and then 2 months later, after I had got so massively better, I finally got all the way better. I said, did anything have to do with anything? No. I said, was he still devastated 15 years later? He's like, no. I said, that yells mental illness or a con. He's like, I said, he's conning people. He said, oh yeah, big time. He's a con man. If he was devastated, he couldn't run $1 million business and be successful. Wouldn't be active in his church, had big weddings for his other daughters and his other son. He take care of his grandkids, go on big vacation, go to big parties. That yells successful, not devastated. They were playing everybody to further their occult's beliefs. And do you realize how ignorant? Where that agent went up and told on me. They made fun of him June 7th, 23 at Walmart 62 at 11 o'clock in the morning, where the drug cartel, the retired judge in the drug cartel, was stalking me. And that occult hired the drug cartel to stalk me. In my home, there's a Fourth Amendment. To date, rape, drug me up, tell me to say something stupid, beat me, rape me, leave me beaten, bruised, throwing up, heart racing, personally infected. In their amnesia drugs, you don't remember what happened to you. And they were violating me in my home. And for him to say that he let them do it because I was faking I was sick and faking I got well while that man was grieving. Do you realize how ignorant he looks? And then that he fell for their tapes before, where they clicked and pasted a shower scene in the other room. And then they laughed at him that he fell for it. Let alone they date, rape, drug me, their fake sodium pentothal reports. And told me to say stuff. Everything's digital now. They can tape over your voice. They can tape over, and so it looks like you're saying something. They can tape over, just click and paste and move you into a different room. Everything's digital. Our technology, you can do anything. And these people are wiretappers. And now they're laughing that they've got into the FBI database. Sold it. And there's so many people that have it, it's ridiculous. Now, are they in another informant program selling it? And then the one serial killer, Eric, he's claiming that he's got my money, where I never got paid. Then they're under his little payroll. And then they're daring him that they wouldn't dare fix this because of what one of their agents did, that he fell for their stunt of tapes before and Ron's lies to manipulate him. It comes down to how, and they mock him. Call him out laughing. They laugh at all these people, how they fooled him into helping out. Do you know, I told you, my neighbors, they showed up and told my neighbors I had charges. That they're not going to just take their word. They looked it up. I have nothing. They said they made up everything on her. Like, duh. And they sold the login to this other couple. And they said, we looked it up and we found a tape of them admitting they sold the login to the case, and we called the police on them. I'm gonna upload this, but yeah, some guy even in North Kent when I went to leave, I got a phone call. They called me and told me there's no excuse. It's ridiculous what happened here, and there's no excuse. There is no damn excuse. I was supposed to be in protective custody. That agent told on me to Apostolic Church of Barberton before I even called him back, and then left me up there for the drug cartel that's human trafficking to abuse the hell out of me, and them to sell FBI information. He never paid me, he never pulled me out, and he left me up there to die. I've been raped, tortured, my skull's been bashed in. I have a dent, publicly humiliated. People have been taken and murdered around me. And they laugh at him how they fooled him. FBI agent John fell for the stunt on the tapes before. Oh, come on now. He actually fell for it? You're kidding. It was only a stunt. It was a satanic stunt. Hiring a drug cartel to beat, drug, rape me with amnesia drugs, leave me bruises, heart racing, throwing up, infected, going to Altman Family Physicians, and nobody put it together that people were violating me in my home and breaking in and drugging me and beating and raping me. They're that kind of vile animals. Apostolic Church or Apostolic Lighthouse Tabernacle and New Life Tabernacle in Maslin, don't go there. They're serial killers. They're in it with a drug cartel. They'll have you murdered if they don't like you. I want you to think about that. This comes down to that agent couldn't even have went and talked to a doctor. You do realize that, because my doctor has been telling even Dave and I that since 2010 that it was a medication error. And they said it all through the case. It's a medication error that made you so sick. When I went into pain management, you swelled up and everything quit working. You're lucky you got off of it, got pain medicine, and started getting out moving. Took 9 months to go into remission, and all that swelling to go down. Had nothing to do with that kid's death. His father-in-law ran a stop sign, pulled out in front of a semi, and semi hit him. And 2 months later, I just happened to get well after working out for 9 months. And that minister made it up, so my husband said at the time, said it in his church and could date whoever he wanted, and they'd be okay with it because they follow him like a god. And and where he knew the Fourth Amendment, nobody can be in your home, it's entrapment. So and everything's digital and can be altered from voice to anything. And they already admitted they were drugging me with amnesia drugs and telling me to say stuff. Over 10 people have told on him. Everybody turned him in. Get somebody down here. It's a drug cartel that's human trafficking people. And Eric's made fun of him that all the tapes before were him and not me, and it was done for a stunt for every turn on me. They fell for a He's a serial killer. He's a child rapist. He's a human trafficker. Human traffickers sell women and children to be sex slaves and to be murdered. He's a serial killer and a child molester, laughing at people he fooled them. And Lighthouse Tabernacle calling FBI agent John June 7th, 23, how they fooled him with their stunt of the tapes before. Oh, come on now, that FBI agent actually fell for that. And then Eric mocking everybody, November 18, 22, Walmart 62 again. They tape an audio through the whole store. And then how he's the June 30th, 23, how he's the life of the party, mocking everybody, how he fooled them into helping out. They mocked him. And now they're daring the FBI because one of their agents, they fooled him. And he let all this happen. And they're daring him that they won't dare fix it. They better fix it. They're in their database.